Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.
Here I am. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. 4-4 on goal is live, 8:30, about a minute late tonight, so we want to apologize out there. We were getting through a couple hiccups like always. It wouldn't be a 4-4 on goal show.
Way she goes,
it would not be a 4-4 on goal show without a hiccup. That's just the way it rolls, man. That's just what it is.
You think it wouldn't be rocket appliances, but it is rocket appliances.
Yes. Yeah, very true. Very excited about tonight. We do have head coach of the girls varsity basketball team over at St. John. I almost said Ann Paul, but St. John, Nick Iarocci coming on. He's also the athletic director over at St. John. So this should be an interesting convo tonight, in my opinion. We've never had kind of well, he'll be the first athletic director to ever join the show. I could say that.
Yeah. Which just makes sense because St. John had the first coaches on the show ever in general.
Right.
With Del Dodge and Marcus. St. John, full first, baby. Way.
Well,
you ain't first to last, boy.
See, the thing that I like so much about this, though, is like, I mean, you guys know me, goalies, you know me. I'm all about like the intricacies of things. So like, I'm really excited tonight to hear about the coaching aspect of things from a man, but also the more analytical side of things that go into, planning a sports season, especially in this time of COVID. You know what I mean, guys? Like, how vital is an athletic director now? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, of course, they're always vital, but now he's taking on additional responsibilities. So. We're going to get a breadth of knowledge tonight that, I think that we're all really blessed to be able to have imparted upon us.
Yeah, I think the point of view from the athletic director is unique. I think it's something fun. It's something that we definitely in the future are going to look into trying to get some of that point of view from every athletic director. We've actually talked to the athletic director from Grand Valley and going to potentially have him come on the show as well. So get the audience introduced to the Mustang Nation. Looking forward to that. But, athletic directors are they have a whole different set of responsibilities and stuff like that. And it'll be interesting to kind of see that on top of, being an athletic director at a smaller school where sometimes scheduling is a little bit more tricky and, stuff like that. So that along with, collecting 200 wins throughout his career, coaching girls sports, like it's a lot. I'm really looking forward tonight. I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Just managing, baseball, basketball, football, volleyball, putting it all together for all these students in golf. Yeah. And making sure that they all have someone to play. This year especially, it's it's not a walk in the park. It's not just a typical Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday girls basketball this year. Just trying to plug and play, especially with what we just seen what happened in PA. I mean, they just shut down across the board. Everything's postponed until further notice, pretty much. Am I correct on that?
That's correct. Yeah. PA said shut them down.
Yeah. Plenty of memes out there, I can tell you that. There's a lot of those rolling around. Yeah. Yeah. So excited. 8:45. So everyone stay tuned for that here in about, call it 9 minutes or so. We're going to have Rock on with us. Very excited about that. But how's your guys' Friday night? we got through Hump Day Wednesday. I'm not gonna lie, I had a vacation day to burn, and today was that day. So here I am, ready to rock and roll. Not tired at all, boys.
You know what? This week's been nice. We've had unfortunately, the youngest daughter had a little bit of a COVID scare. So, she had a direct exposure at daycare. So, she's now quarantined 19 months. Tell her, listen, sorry, you can't leave the house, kid. Not about that life.
I'd seen your video.
Yeah. I just keep telling her you're quarantined, like she knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in the video, it did sound like she said something else that your dad pointed out. It totally sounds like it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But on the plus side, she is healthy as a horse and loud as one too. Running around the house just like one. So no fears there. She's doing well. Everybody in the house is doing well. Thank God. By the grace of God, everybody's been okay.
Yep.
It's a wild season, man. One chance encounter with the wrong person, and you got 10 to 14 hot ones in your house by yourself. So stock up on the Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
Stock up, baby.
Go get your TP now, folks. It's coming.
It's
Listen, I do not endorse that. Don't listen to him. TP is always going to be fine.
Listen, there's a lot of good options.
If you guys hoarded that TP back in April and you need to start hoarding TP again, listen, man, you got more problems than I do, and I got some problems. You need to evaluate that bowel situation.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go right over to ACMC. There's a guy named Dr. Novak. He's gonna go ahead and have to look at your stomach, because if you need that much toilet paper, you got trouble.
Yeah. But listen, hey, I mean, it's been a good week, man. We're getting ready for Christmas. We're getting ready to big things here at 440 Goal. I'm super excited. This is a great time of year. Everything's getting a little bit more festive, a little bit more happy. So that's always good. You know what I mean? Actually, I think this is a record. We haven't fought for like a month now.
Yeah,
so
you jinxed that. You jinxed that, boy.
Yeah, I'm
coming in hot.
Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, I'm happy for that. I'll tell you what. But hey, so I got a little call to action here for the goalies. So on Sunday, it's my stepson's birthday, and he wasn't able to go to school this year with COVID. His mother and I elected to have him stay home with the special needs program not being up to par that needed to be. And it kind of stinks for him because he was really starting to learn to socialize very well. So I'm just asking goalies, anyone, if you can send me a video wishing him happy birthday, that would make his day, man. I'm trying to make a little video here, a little surprise for him. So if you guys can take 5 seconds to do that, I'd super appreciate it. But I have one thing I need to reveal to you guys, and I haven't revealed it to you guys or the goalies yet. So hold on. You see the logo, right? Well, look what's coming back.
Oh,
God.
It's coming back, boys.
Is that a rat tail? Holy
No, this is a baby man bun. This is a baby bun right here. She's coming back.
Oh my God, here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's coming in hot and heavy.
Oh,
I'm about to be looking like Marcus Parker here soon, just flowing.
Yeah, I think you got a little longer to go before that one happens.
3 weeks.
A little bit. What was it? Real quick, let's talk Buckeyes football just for a moment. I want to know your guys' opinion on this. So the Buckeyes play 4 games this year, get pushed into the Big Ten championship.
They play 5 games.
What's that?
Was
it 5? I thought it was 4. My bad.
No,
Either way,
5.
They get pushed into it. The guy said, the head of the Big Ten conference, the commissioner, whatever it may be, said you got to play a minimum of 6. Buckeyes only get 5. What is your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, so my whole thing about it is we talked a little bit earlier. Money talks and the other stuff walks. You know what I'm saying? And the Big Ten is one of the biggest conferences in football and one of the biggest money grabs in football. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have Northwestern versus like Purdue, who's missing Rondell Moore, who's their star receiver? They aren't garnering any money in a Big Ten championship game. I'm going to use my word. It behooved the Big Ten to take a look at it and say, hey, you know what? Like Ohio State had 2 teams cancel on them due to COVID. It wasn't their fault. They did cancel a game, but they did have a lot of cases. They had like 33 or something like that. So now we need to look at it. Ohio State's going to make us the most money. And by putting Ohio State in this game, more likely than not, they're going to beat Northwestern, and they could have a spot in the college football playoff, which brings money to the Big Ten.
That's it right there. It's about we've got one shot at getting a team in the college playoffs this year. It is Ohio State. Ohio State's going to be a candidate to be in the playoffs, whether they played 2 games or 20 games. They are the Buckeyes. If you don't like it, too bad. Because you know what? There are a few teams in football that are going to get the benefit of the doubt. And that is Alabama, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. If there's even a glimmer that one of those 3 teams has a good enough team to be in the playoffs, you're going to put them in the playoffs. You know why? Because those advertisers don't want to see Northwestern go up against, Alabama and lose by 975 points.
Right.
All right.
Generous.
Every once in a while, a team sneaks in there, and then they just get the doors blown off of them. I remember a couple of years NIU. This was back, I think, in the BCS era. NIU ends up getting a BCS game, and they lost by. I think they're still tallying the points.
Yep, and that's when they had that really good quarterback too. That like everyone was like, oh, he could be like a 2nd-round pick. Well, he showed why he wasn't going to be an NFL player.
Exactly. It always
got destroyed.
It always happens. Everybody took on to that Boise State, winning a couple years, which I hate that team more than any other college team.
How can you hate somebody with a blue football field? Come on now.
Hate Boise State. Only surpassed hatred is that disgusting team up north where the guy wears khakis and cries a lot.
Oh, I meant to tell you, you dropped the M word. So M as in Michigan. I'll say it last week. I had to tell you that.
Yeah.
Or last Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, I ain't saying it again. I had to wash my mouth out with soap.
So
anyway.
I mean, real quick, I just think so. I'm not like a tried and true Buckeye supporter. Am I a Buckeyes fan? Sure. Not like I am a Browns fan. I have my opinion. I just think if you say one thing, do it. But that's where I'm at. I understand the whole money situation, but if you take that out of the equation, I don't know that it was fair to the rest of the teams. But that's where I stand. So,
but there's no other team that comes close monetarily. You know what I'm saying? And anymore, it's not about.
Yeah, but I'm talking about axing the money. If you don't look at the right, and you're all right, and that's the sad part. It's about money. Who brings in the biggest cash flow, and it is the Buckeyes.
The president of the Big Ten put out a good point. Okay. The same way that this disease has grown and mutated over the years, so too then do the decisions have to as well. Mm-hmm. Because you couldn't tell anything you were saying in July, half of that's not true anymore.
Correct.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? I don't think anybody last year saw this going as far as it did. And, based on some of the actions, around the country, around the county, I don't know that it's going anywhere anyway. So, that's another thing too, before we go is, for the ones that are going to moan and groan that Ohio State's going to make the playoffs this year, because they will, Ohio State should not be punished for being safer than Southern schools that are like, I don't care about the Rona. All I care about is these touchdowns.
All I care about is a good time, baby.
Listen,
man.
The vaccine for Rona is in this can of Copenhagen, so let's go.
Get you some.
All right. It's 8:45. Let's get a quick message from our sponsors, and then we're going to bring on the man, the myth, the legend,
baby.
The Rock. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking, baby?
So 4-4-0 and goal.
All right, let me pop these up, and we'll see you guys here in a couple minutes.
Tri-Fin Charters, Northeast Ohio's premier multi-species guide service. Captain Mark Diedrich is here to set up your trip of a lifetime. Catfish, walleye, steelhead, crappie, perch, and more. Mosquito Lake, Lake Erie, Ohio River, or even Pymatuning Reservoir. Tri-Fin Charters, where dreams become reality. 440-228-5744.
440 and Gold proudly welcomes Play All Awards and Engraving. Awards, they do them all at Play All, from trophies to plaques to all other things celebration. Play All has 2 on-site laser computerized engraving machines as well as thermal imaging equipment. Play All has been locally owned and operated since 1993. Check them out at playallamerica.com or check out their Facebook page at Play All Awards and Engraving. Visit Play All at 4542 Main Avenue in beautiful downtown Ashtabula, Ohio. 44 Own Goal proudly presents Trilogy Cabinets and Design. Planning a small remodel or building your dream home? From a single display case to cabinetry throughout the entire home, Trilogy Cabinets and Design can help make your vision a reality. Their quality and designs are second to none and are often more affordable than other custom options. If you can dream it, Trilogy Cabinets and Design can build it. Contact Trilogy Cabinet and Designs at 814-683-4511. 44 Own Goal presents Made in Ohio. Made in Ohio makes custom t-shirts, hoodies, banners, jerseys, and more. With the fastest turnaround time in Ashtabula, 44 Own Goal is proud to have Made in Ohio as its official Player of the Week sponsor. Contact Made in Ohio at 440-964-9057 or visit Made in Ohio at 1028 Bridge Street in beautiful, historic Ashtabula Harbor. Also, check Made in Ohio out on Facebook for upcoming Black Friday sales for the holiday season. All right, everybody, welcome back.
I'm talking about that voice is like velvet, baby. I want to go down to Made in Ohio right now and just go get geared up.
Come on now, they got stuff for the kids. Man, it's Christmas time. They got I got to change it now. I forgot Black Friday's over with, so I got to go back in there.
You make Earl Ives sound like Bobcat Goldthwait.
Come on now. But yeah, don't forget, guys, down at Made in Ohio, if you want some 440 and gold gear, he makes it hot off the press, about a 10-minute turnaround time. Shout out to our boy, John McCoy. He went down there. We owe him whatever, $20, I think it is. So I got to send it to him. Maybe I'll pay him in, we'll call it liquid gold, but we'll go from there, figure that one out. So, but yeah, stop down to Made, Ohio. See Bart, get you a shirt, get you a gator. He does a really good job down there on just about everything. And he's got a lot of cool stuff down there, like shirts that I would never have guessed would ever be made. The Harbor Rat is the biggest one that always comes to mind for me. So, but let's go. Without further ado, what everyone's on here to see, Mr. Head coach of the girls varsity basketball team at St. John and athletic director over at St. John, Nick Iarocci.
There he is.
Hey, welcome in, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me. And shout out to you guys, Sam, Tom, Ryan. What you guys do for the athletes in this county is absolutely awesome. Living in a little small town, we sometimes are outside the exposure area. And what you guys do, and I know you don't make a whole lot of money doing it, I just want to shout out for all the ADs, all the coaches, all the athletes, and thank you guys for what you do, man. It's much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. It's a labor of love on this on this point. These guys had an idea and they wrote me in, and we have turned into this area's kind of one of my biggest one of my biggest heroes out here was Joe Pete, and to be able to give just something even close to what he was doing back in the day when he was active is super fun. And the honest answer is, without guys like you, Rock, and you were one of our first doors was going up to you and allowing us in there, and you're like, yeah, come on in, and letting us get our feet on the ground and settled and stuff like that. It really helped. Guys like you and Steve Cray over in Edgewood, and Joel Taylor, and Mr. Losi and Jefferson, Mr. Baxter, I mean Mel Nowakowski out in PV. Did I get them all? All you guys, athletic directors, really. I've gotten a whole new respect, a whole new love for you guys, because you guys have all opened the doors for us and allowing us in. So thank you.
No question about it. Everybody you just mentioned are great people. They're so dedicated to the student athlete. And I didn't realize you knew Joe. Joe was a very good friend of mine. We go way back. And I kind of was going to make reference to him, but I didn't know you guys knew him. You guys remind me a lot of him. And when I listen to your football broadcast, you guys bring that same energy and that same whatever Joe would bring. And that's a great comparison. And again, thank you guys, and thank you for what you do. And I know I speak for all the other Ds. You're welcome. Thank you for recognizing.
Yeah, I just have to say, Joe was the first. He was the first time I ever got. What was it? What was his award, Sammy?
Bone Crusher Award, Bone Crusher of the Week, baby.
Yeah, so I didn't receive it myself. The whole offensive line does, and that's why you'll notice during the season, I picked the O-line as the players of the week. I can't help it. You know what I mean? So obviously we're into basketball now, so I'll have to figure out an audible on that one, but we'll go from there. So
the
yep.
Always coming in hot.
Yeah, I'm sure Joe's mom and dad will appreciate. I'm sure Joe P will appreciate, his mom and dad appreciate you guys mentioned him. And yeah, Joe was a character, and I really regret the fact that the guy's dog's name was Buckeye. Are you kidding me? I hated the fact that he didn't get to see the success Urban had at Ohio State, because Joe passed right when Urban got the job. And I'm sure he's watching from heaven, assuming he's up there. I know that's debatable.
Oh man.
So Matt, I do have to ask, since Matt Pete kind of put you on blast a little bit. How you got the nickname Rock? If we're allowed to talk about it.
You most certainly are, and I'm glad he did that. I'm going to show my age a little bit, but when I first started coaching, Matt Pete was on the football team, and Matt Pete was a special person. He was a special running back. I see why his sons are so good. Matt was fearless. He was 5'5", 145 pounds, and he had no fear. I loved coaching him. But me and my brother were on the coaching staff, and every time they said Coach Iarocci, we would both look. I was the defensive back coach. I didn't like to just say ready, break. I'm like, come on, Matt, we got to come up with something better. Let's rock this huddle. So it kind of evolved from there. 1, 2, 3, rock. And that's where the nickname came from. So, yeah, I got to give Pistol props on that one.
Yep, that's why I love this show, because without having you on here, I don't think anybody except for you and that yours team would know why your nickname's Rock. That's the beauty of the show. So
yeah, there were some crazy rumors going around. At one point, somebody said a dog wandered into one of our practices, and I threw rocks at it, and that's where the nickname came from.
Hey. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love dogs. I mean,
I didn't want to bring that up.
No. Yeah.
But
man.
John Costello and Donald Costello told me that. John and Donald told me that, and I was like, "There's no way."
The origin of a rumor. No, Matt knows the real story. Thank you, Matt, for the shout out. I appreciate nipping that rumor in the bud right there.
Well, let's get on with the show here a little bit. I feel like we could talk all night, but I mean, we don't. I guess we technically kind of do have all night, but I'm sure you don't want to be here all night. So how we like to start the show off, Coach, and you've probably watched it before, how we do this, but tell us a little bit about yourself, your history of coaching, how you got into the AD position, how it all, until you're at the point you're at now.
Thank you. Yes, I pretty much bleed blue, no question about it. I graduated from St. John in '79. I played football and basketball there. I was on the 2 state runner-up football teams. My personal opinion, I think it was the best football team in the history of St. John, but I know that sparks a lot of debates from the guys from the 60s and the late 80s and early 90s. But we lost back-to-back state championships, 77 and 78. I graduated from St. John. I moved to Cleveland, was working up in Cleveland, had a couple kids, I got married. My brother Dom was coaching Ashtabula High School with Jim Orr. And that team was Sean Allgood and Brian Scruggs and all them great players. And my brother asked me if I wanted to scout. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. That was long before Huddle. It was just VHS tapes. So you'd actually send out scouts to scout games. Really enjoyed it, really getting back involved in sports. Following year, my brother Dom got hired as the baseball coach at St. John, 1990. He asked me to be his assistant. From 1990 to 1999, I coached football, basketball, and baseball, year-round coaching, coached some great kids. It's pretty much all I did. I paid my dues, did the grind. 1999, I became the head girls basketball coach. 22 years later, here we are. My son and daughter graduated from St. John. My brother was a football star at St. John. My sister was a head majorette. My mom and dad used to dress me up in St. John uniforms and bring me to the St. John games. So I, without a doubt, bleed blue. I'm real proud to do it, and thanks for asking.
Yeah, it sounds like you don't have a choice. It was like what do they call that when you get married to someone and you don't want to be married, but you have
Arranged,
to be?
baby.
Yeah, arranged marriage between Rock and St. John.
He got one of these.
Don't tell sister. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
she
Where's
knows.
that tattoo at?
Well, the world was a lot bigger back then, and our idols weren't as much pro athletes as they were the high school stars. And when you were younger, you really looked up to them guys. And I watched guys like Denny Allen and my brother Dom, and then Steve Abraham and Pat Janelle and them kind of names. And you wanted to be like them. We really didn't get to see a lot of games, and pros weren't televised that much. And again, I'm showing my age, but yeah, it was just something I always aspired to do. And I absolutely love coaching. I love being an athletic director. And I really think that's why I was put on this earth, is to do them positions. I really enjoy it.
How long have you been the AD over there?
I've been the athletic director. I was the assistant athletic director for my really good friend Dave Rozo, and I started in '99. I was the assistant for 7 years. For 14 years, and I became the head athletic director in 2013 when we moved to Spire. Now, since I've been athletic director, we've added wrestling, girls tennis, soccer, and no props to me, more props to the increasing enrollment. So St. John, definitely, things are looking real good over there.
Cool. Sorry to interrupt you, Sam. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. I just wanted to send a quick shout out to his brother, Dom Iarocci. He's legendary in his scout prowess as well. If you I learned about him years ago from, I was good friends with his son, but I saw how heavily that this was back when Ashtabula and Harbor were still schools. So I was good friends with the Ashtabula side. They relied heavily on his scouting. So he was a man among, a legend among, himself as well. So shout out to Dom.
Yeah, 100%. He's a Hall of Fame coach. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I absolutely love football. But the reason I got out of coaching football, it's just so much work, man. Football is an incredible amount of work. It's 7 days a week. You never really hear about any other coach in any other sport burning out, but they burn out in football. The amount of scouting and the preparation, and you just never want to be outworked. Again, we work hard in basketball and baseball, but football's at like a whole nother level of preparation and the amount of work you got to put in. So, not to mention it's cold. I like a nice warm gym. So I really like coaching basketball so much more.
It's only cold for part of the year, and if you live in the South, it ain't never cold. Come on, you just got to worry about a hurricane.
Yeah, I hear you, right? I hear you. But being a lifetime Northeast Ohio, I only know it one way. But he scouted for a lot of different teams. He scouted for Ashtabula and Lakeside, and for Coach Hassett at Geneva. And like I said, he's a Hall of Famer, and I owe all my coaching prowess to my brother Don for getting me interested in it.
Yeah, and before we dip into the coaching career and the coaching right now, one of the questions I had it's kind of being an athletic director, and so an athletic director, you have a unique perspective over sport in general. You know what I mean? It's not just let's schedule this team and this team. It's about, can we get our kids there? Are we going to be able to make this commitment? Can we get them to come here? Does it make sense for our program? St. John has a unique problem in that how small they are. You know what I mean? It's not just, you can't go knock on the door at St. Ed's and say, hey, we're coming to play you guys. It's a little bit different to kind of find, schools and, that the schedule makes sense. And then logistics comes into, with how you're going to get the kids there and stuff like that. What are some of the things that you kind of learned over the years that or something that maybe was a little bit more surprising? I guess with like a 7 year, with a 7 year, getting a look in on it, not too much, but I'm sure there's still stuff that catches you off guard every once in a while.
Every athletic director works super hard. What makes our job a little harder, but I really enjoy it, is, and I don't know if you guys were aware of this, you probably were, we're not in a conference, we're independent. And I think in Northeast Ohio, I think us and like Ignatius and maybe Gilmore, these real big time schools, are the only independents in the area. And believe it or not, I like it better. I schedule every single game for every single sport, but with us being so small, we're able to adjust the schedule year to year, season to season, and being locked into a conference, you don't quite have that freedom. Now, obviously, the downside of not being in a conference, our kids don't get to make all conference, but our kids make all county, they make all state, they make all 440 and gold. we still get all that kind of recognition. But like, I really enjoy. A lot of people ask me, Brock, just join a conference. They do your scheduling for you. They even do your referees for you. They do your junior high schedule for you. But I don't want to do a disservice to the kids, and I don't want to join a conference where we probably don't fit just because my job's a little easier. I love the idea of being independent. Some years our volleyball team plays up. Other years our softball team may play down. When you're locked into a conference, you don't have that luxury. I love being independent. That being said, I'm going to be a little hypocritical. We are looking at a couple conferences right now. But the last 7 years, we've been independent, and we've had some offers in the past, but it wasn't a good fit. So the fit we're looking at right now, and I'll go ahead and say it, it's the NAC, the North American Conference. It's a really good fit for us. It's your Pymatumings, your Fairports. We pretty much play all them anyway. I'm a big advocate of an all-county league. I'll say that here. Whoever wants to hear it, I want them to hear it. I want to be in an all-county league. Us ADs have been meeting. COVID hit. We had to stop meeting. My first choice would be in an all-county league. That's probably not going to happen. Probably a lot of different opinions on that, on why it won't happen. It bothers me that it won't happen. I think it should. But at the end of the day, we'll probably end up joining NAC. It would be a better fit from us. If it doesn't work out, we're cool being independent too.
Yeah, that NAC is, as we kind of kicked around and when we just had a little bit of fun, started throwing some graphics out there and just kind of testing the waters a little bit. The NAC, really makes sense. It's as close to a county league as it can get. It would be nice to get, there's a couple schools that maybe it doesn't make sense for them to be in a county league, and I understand that. I respect that. You know what I mean? But that NAC really could be a nice fit for any of the schools out here that want to get a more localized schedule. There's some great competition in there. I mean, look at PV this year with knocking heads around. Just 2 years ago, St. John was knocking heads around. People don't forget people. St. John can be the small school around here. St. John was putting some L's out there on you guys not very long ago. So, it just makes sense. And I think there's a special feeling of achievement for kids when they beat local teams. I just do. I think it gives you a little bit more achievement when you walk around Walmart, because we all share a Walmart. And you can walk around with your colors flying high.
Yeah, no question about it, Sam. And again, we'll talk about our schedule a little bit, and that's pretty much what we do. We play all county teams and we play all NAC schools. Plug in a few other schools from the Cleveland area, but for the most part, our schedule's just filled with county schools and NAC schools. And I think our kids really enjoy that, win or lose. They like the opportunity. You called it Walmart. I call it mall bragging rights. Although I know the mall's getting kind of scarce with the amount of businesses in there, but we go ahead and just call it, we'll go ahead and say county bragging rights. It's kind of fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And before we go on the next question, even if there was a kind of like an unwritten rule that each school had to register with 5 other teams every year, I don't know, just something like that.
Agree.
But Coach, so let's go into a little bit of your coaching staff. So, obviously, you do a good job coaching these girls, but, as basically you said, you can't do it by yourself. You need a little bit of help. Let's talk a little bit about, who you got on your staff, who's helping you, when and where and how.
I talk to you all night about my girls and about my staff. I love being around them. They're wonderful people. What I've learned, guys, my first couple of years, I lost a lot. We were 2-19. I kept losing. 4th, 5th year, we won back-to-back NAC titles. We were amazing, 19 wins. What I've realized, irregardless, wins and losses are going to happen every single day. But if you're not having fun with the people you're with, it's not worth it. And I know other coaches are going to disagree with me, but I'd rather go 5-15 and have fun than go 15-5 and just hate each other's guts. I've had both. And you know what? I'm not about that. We preach, as much as we coach basketball, we coach camaraderie. It's what we're all about. We're about loving each other. And if we're not getting along and winning, it don't matter. I want to make sure we get along. And it start right with our coaching staff. My assistant's Tony Martino. He's been with me 12 years. He's my cousin. He's my cousin. He's got an amazing relationship with the girls. He knows basketball inside and out. I love everything Tony brings to the table. Last year, we hired Les Anderson. You guys probably know Les. Les is a wonderful guy. He's got so much to offer to the girls. The girls love him. And then I went ahead and I robbed Lakeside. Ryan McKendry was a basketball coach over there. I'm not sure what I had to do to get him over, but he's also on my staff. So I got Les, Ryan, and Tony. And then superstar Sydney Carpenter, she's going to Kent Branch this year. So she's a fifth-year senior. We like to tease her. She helped trying to put a uniform on her. She also helps us. So we had 2 weeks of practice, and we were just having a blast. And then the shutdown occurred. Right now, we're shut down till, December 21st for practice. We had a Zoom meeting tonight with all the girls. We had a scavenger hunt in the Zoom meeting. It was a lot of fun. They're just a great amount of girls. I love being around them. I can talk about them if you want to.
So, Coach, I had a quick question for you. Talking about your staff there. What involvement do you have in any type of youth basketball with St. John? Does St. John have like a youth team, like a 5th grade, 6th grade type thing? And if so, are they running the same verbiage that you run when they get to the high school, or is it like a little bit more free form? Talk a little bit about that.
That's a great question. I'll give you some insight. What's very unique, and I didn't realize this till I became AD. A lot of junior highs are not members of OSHA. There's really no upside to being in OSHA. Believe it or not, half of the schools in Ohio are not members in OSHA at the junior high level. So when I found out that was an opportunity for us, we pulled out of OSHA at the junior high level. And the reason being that allows us to have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders play on our junior high teams. I know the entire Youngstown Diocese did that, and it's really beneficial, especially to the small school. So we're not in OSHA. So 6th, 7th, and 8th, them girls, they run, and our boys, they run the exact same thing we do as much as they possibly can. More schools have intramurals now, but a couple years back, we were the only school in the county that offered K through 5 intramural basketball. Now, Tom, I'm glad you asked that question. I would never compare myself to a college or a pro coach. They forgot more than I know. But here's something interesting. A college coach or a pro coach puts a system in. They either recruit or draft kids to fit their system. You don't have that luxury in high school. You have to coach the kids you're dealt. So I always adapt my style to the kids I have. So, with Emily and Sid, Fire and Ice, they were prominent three-point shooters. We ran a three-point offense. You go back about 5 years ago, we made 2 threes the entire season. We were inside oriented. So that being said, I kind of leave it free form for the younger kids. This year, going into this year, we're not going to abandon the 3. We still got some great shooters, but we're going to hang our hat more on our defense and kind of suit the talents and the skill set of the girls that are on our team.
Well, let's so speaking of girls, let's just go dive right into it. The most important people, the reason we love talking to you, but let's hear about the players. We always ask the question who to look out for. Some coaches say all of St. John, all the girls are going to be, and then some coaches name every single one of them off. So, but who do you got this year that we should look out for? And I like kind of always hear about the diamond in the rough, the one that no one really knows about. But here she comes.
Thanks, Ryan. We got 17 girls this year, and it starts off with our 3 seniors. Our 3 seniors are Claudia Wagner, Julianne Sheldon, and Latiana Fleming. Latiana Fleming's in the conversation for Player of the Year. I'm not saying she's going to win it, but she's in the conversation. I was a little concerned about their leadership this year because it was Madison Parody's team. She handed the team over to Emily and Sid. So Lot, Jules, and Claudia kind of had to follow. I was curious. Well, what ended up happening was they taught them how to lead, and their leadership has been incredible this year. Nothing short of amazing. Julianne was a girl that didn't even really like basketball. Now she knows every single player, where they're supposed to be. She's the coach on the court. Claudia, every team needs a Claudia. She's just a great kid, a great locker room presence. Not really caught up in scoring. She's okay with doing all the dirty work, the rebounding, the playing defense. And again, every team needs one. My one junior is Lily Nagy. I'm not sure how much you guys follow volleyball. Lily's a phenomenal volleyball player who's never played basketball in her life. Not 1 second. She came out this year, mostly because she likes basketball, but she heard how much fun we have. And that made me feel really good. So them are our 4 upperclassmen. Here's the cool part. Of my 17 girls, 13 of them are 9th and 10th graders. I won't name every one of them. We have 8 sophomores, 8 of them.
Wow.
They're all going to contribute. They're all athletic. And what really blows me away, guys, they all get along. When have you guys seen 8 girls get along? Come on. You don't see 3 of them get along.
I got 3 in my house that don't get along.
Hey, one's trying to escape nightly.
You know, on a side note, I know Sam's daughters, and they're 2 of the most incredible girls I've ever met in my life. And I knew them even before I met Sam. And once I met Sam, it all made sense. So shout out to them. They're just super kids.
That is my favorite compliment I've gotten all year this year, and I appreciate that very, very deeply. Thank you.
It's very true. It's very easy to compliment good people. And then I got my 5 freshmen, and they're hard, man. They're you don't think they're freshmen. I mean, they go up against the seniors and juniors, and they just bang. And you know, they're a great group too. So right now, guys, 6 through 10 at St. John, and I know Sam knows this from his daughter. We have 43 girls playing basketball, 6 through 10.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yep.
super cool. We're really excited about, and again, not as much a compliment to me as it is as the increasing enrollment at St. John. So there's my girls. I love being around them. I hate being shut down right now and not being able to be around them.
Yep.
You know, us adults sometimes you don't have a lot going on in our life. So the favorite part of my day is the 2 hours practice I have with the girls. It's just really fun.
Wait, are you married, Coach?
I am married.
Hopefully she's in the other room, brother.
Yeah, I've been married. I'm going to show my age. I've been married. My anniversary was last week. It was my 38th year anniversary, and I turned 60, and I was in quarantine. What's up with that?
well, happy anniversary, first of all.
Yep.
Another thing, too, that you talk about kind of at the youth level. So 43 kids at the 7th and 8th grade levels, fantastic. Like those are program building numbers.
Yeah, no question. You know, guys, last year was the first year I had a JV team. We went 9 straight years without a JV team. You know, Madison Parady's senior year, we only had 9 girls. We won 13 games. We only had 9 girls. Guys, we couldn't even go 5-on-5. We had to put like a garbage can on there to be the 5th player. It was tough. But, you know, and again, we didn't have that development. So having all these kids is a really, really good, I'm going to say, problem to have. It's super exciting for our present and our future.
And I know that at the K through 12, or the K through 5 level, with the intramurals, which me and Ryan, you know, we've gotten involved with that, which is an absolute blast. I love it. I got to coach intramurals for the first time last year, and I was a head coach actually for the first time last year. Coached a couple years, had a blast. But also a travel team. St. John had their own travel team going through like an AAU sort of thing set up last year. So really, I mean, these are all things that to me, and I think to other teams around, and I know to athletic directors are just fantastic, because the earlier you can instill that love for the game, the better.
You know, we got some good, you know, Sister Maureen Burke's an amazing woman. Besides my mom, she's the most amazing woman I've ever met in my life. She's kind of steering the ship. You got people like Keith Corlew and RJ Valenic and Laura Parisi and our principal, Scott Plesha. And, you know, an amazing group of teachers we have up there. And people get confused. They think sports increases your enrollment. It's the other way around, guys. Your sports is a reflection of your enrollment. You know what I mean? And as our enrollment grew, so did our rosters. And, again, not counting wins and losses. They happen every day. Just having the kids on the team and kind of just making special moments. You know, I learned, guys, 99.4% of high school athletes do not play college sports. 100% of high school athletes become adults. So that's kind of what I always keep in mind. You know, let's just create memories. Let's embrace the moment. Let's learn work ethic. And along the way, let's have some fun, maybe win a few games.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. One of the things you talked about bringing on, it was Sydney Carpenter this year. Sydney Carpenter, who is a phenomenal athlete. You know, just leading the county last year. I know a lot of the girls look up to her. And last week we talked to Randy Venzel over at Edgewood, and he talked about, you know, his daughter coming on the staff, and the girls, I guess, just relate different. to somebody. I won't say they listen better, but sometimes that I call them attainable idols. Sydney Carpenter, like you said, this is a small town. The people that you look up to are the people you got to watch on the court. So do you think that the girls kind of will look to her for that or coaching, or how do you think she kind of fits into the coaching scheme?
Well, I mean, no question about it. Sydney gets on the court and she puts on a blue and white reversible and she plays. And, what we're real big on when we're playing other teams, I know we had talked earlier about analytics, and I try really hard when I'm playing somebody. I'm not going to let your best beat me. I'm going to take your best player away. I'm going to make somebody else beat me. And a lot of times what Sid will do, she'll be the other team's best player in practice, and we'll concentrate on taking her away. And, I was having Coach Martino and Les do that, but they're old, man. They're having a hard time. So having Sydney to be able to do that is really cool.
Yeah, that is now that is a tool that people kill for, would be to have something like that, especially in basketball. Typically with basketball, there's going to be 1 to 2 power players and a lot of other role players around them. So if you can get any sort of competition to get ready for them, it really makes a heck of a difference. Going into that, you talked about this year that the offense is kind of going to shift a little bit, and it's based on personnel. And I'll be honest with you, I'm hoping Latiana Fleming can shoot, or she's the best rebounder or something, because I'm ready. Her nickname is Lights Out Latiana. I'm ready. She's going to be the first girl in the county with the nickname for 440 girl. Lights Out Latiana. But
that's awesome.
What kind of defense do you guys do? Is it high pressure? Do you do a lot of half court, or do you let the other team and their strengths and, more importantly, their weaknesses determine that?
Really good question, Sam. I know Latiana's watching, and she's like, Rock, I hope that 440 goal makes me famous. I think you just did. So thank you for that. Sam, last year, and you're going to laugh, probably a lot of coaches wouldn't admit this, we were all about shooting the three. Honest to God, we had a 2-hour practice. I probably spent 5 minutes a day on defense. That's it. We didn't even practice defense. We kind of just stood in our defensive spots and waited to get the ball to go down the other end. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to accentuate our strengths. I wasn't going to waste time. This year, with our depth and the amount of athletes we have, we're going to spend a little more time on defense. Again, I like to adjust, and I might play zone. I might play man. I'll adjust by the game. I'll adjust by the quarter. I'll adjust coming off a timeout. I swear to God. I'm not going to rely on one thing. I don't really have a system defensively. I'm going to play. I know last year we played Edgewood 3 times. First 2 times we played zone every single second of the game. We came out the third game and played them straight man. It was pretty cool. So I kind of like doing stuff like that, kind of fitting what fits our need at that moment. Again, I'm real big on just living in the moment, embracing the moment, doing what's best for you at that specific time.
Well, that's very interesting, Coach, because that's a perfect segue into the question I'd love to ask. So, it seems to me like analytics plays a little bit of a role in what you do over there at St. John, over in the old Saybrook Elementary over there.
Yeah, 100%, Tom. You had walked out of the room. I talked about analytics, and we talked about Sydney Carpenter's role. And, I'm not going to say any names of my opponents. They know who they are. But if I'm playing a school and they got 2 really good players, they ain't getting left open. They're going to be covered all the time. And we're going to leave we have a nickname. I know a popular term in our society right now is Karens. We don't call them Karens. We call them Susies. And I always tell my girls, don't be a Susie. And Susie's the girl we're not covering. We're leaving her open, and we're saying, go ahead, Susie, shoot. Go ahead. Just shoot the ball.
My mom named Karen.
We're not going to cover you. Go ahead and make it.
So listen, you might have a trend rolling, man. Hey, Harris is a Susie.
Yep. So I always teach my girls, don't be a Susie. And this never happens in boys, but never in my coaching career have I taken a girl out for shooting too much. I will take you out if you don't shoot the ball. And one of my favorite stats ever, Emily Severa, who I think is one of the best players ever to play at St. John. We played Edgewood. She was 0 for 22 from three-point line. 0 for 22. I told her, Emily, I was more proud of you of that game than any game I've ever coached, because she had the courage to continue to shoot the basketball. And a lot of times with girls, they don't quite have that confidence. And we really preach, shoot the ball. Everybody on my team got the green light. Know your range, know your limit, but if you're open, shoot the ball. Don't be a Susie.
Don't be a Susie's going to be on a T-shirt. That's happening.
That's happening.
Yeah, that's
happening.
Yeah. Yep. Don't
You
be
know,
a Susie.
one of the things that got brought up here by Mr. Parker, who is a coaching member at St. John, is when we talk about wins and losses, you got quite a few wins in the account of 200. Congratulations on grabbing that last year, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. You know, it meant a lot. It was really special too. I couldn't have scripted any better. It was against Conneaut and Coach Pastanen. He's also my cousin. You know, us Italians are all related. So one way or the other. So to beat them, and he had beat me like 5-6 straight games. To beat them for my 200th win was really special. It really felt good to have 200 wins. But honest to God, guys, I really don't measure my coaching prowess by my wins and losses. It's just about teaching the game the right way and having fun while you're at it. And, you know, like I said, I got 200 wins. I probably got 220, 230 losses. So, you know, and sometimes I want you to understand, I'm not about, we all don't go to practice to sing Kumbaya. I don't believe in participation trophies. I love winning. I hate losing. But, you know, I see that guy that loses and he kicks the wall and everybody's like, he hates to lose. I disagree. I think he's a baby. And I think there's a fine line between being a baby and don't strut around like a peacock if you win either. My favorite thing, and other coaches are going to disagree with me, you guys may disagree with me, on a road game, when we're on our bus, 10 minutes into the bus ride, honest to God, guys, you don't know if we won or lost. And I love that. I absolutely love that. I played in the era when you lost the football game, you had to shut up and not talk and think about what you did wrong. Dude, I wasn't thinking about what I did wrong. I thought about what girl I was going out with after the game. Come on, man. You guys did the same thing.
Yeah, that was the truth. You just shut up because you were told to. That was about
because
it.
You were told to.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, my girls aren't acting silly on the bus, but 10 minutes later, life goes on, man. We'll get ready for the next game. And if we win, don't act like assholes either. Just be happy. Keep that kind of the secret to life. If you could just stay right there. Don't get too happy. Don't get too down. If you can just stay right there, that's kind of what I kind of strive for. So, yes, Tom, analytics, big part of my life. And I told you before, I was doing analytics in the 80s, and my brother and them would laugh at me. Get out of here with your stats in your notebook. No, I love stats.
I love it.
Analytics.
Yep. So, Coach, I had another question for you. You talk about 200 wins. It's a storied career. You've been coaching in Ashtabula County quite a long time. So I was very interested in this. What has stayed the same in Ashtabula ladies basketball, and what has changed during your tenure in coaching? Maybe not all in ladies basketball either, any sport that you've coached. What stayed the same in Ashtabula sports, and what's changed over the years?
Really good question. I'm going to be the minority here. Personally, when the doors shut and we're in the gym practicing, I don't think kids are any different from 1970 to 2020. And every girl I've coached, when you're in the gym, they just want to get better. What I think has changed, I think the outside noise, all the distractions, for lack of a better word. You know, there's so many other things. When I played, they told us my way or the highway. We took the highway because we stayed because we had nothing else to do. Kids nowadays, if it's not fun for them, enjoyable, there's so many other more things they could be doing. And remember, people forget, sports ain't a job. Sports extracurricular. You choose that because you want to do it. You got to go to school. You got to go to work. You got to pay your taxes. You got to do shit like that. That other part of your life, it's your choice, and it's got to be fun. So I think I try to keep it fun and make it a priority in their life. But to answer your question, in the gym, nothing's changed. Outside of the gym, maybe a few more things that you have to deal with.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to put it, Coach. It really is. It really is.
I love my buddies that are my age that say, we didn't do that back in my day. Well, you didn't have that. You didn't have
that. You didn't have a cell phone.
And don't tell me you wouldn't have done it because you would have.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So you're a realist is what you are.
Ever on 4-for-0 and goal.
Yeah. I tell you what I learned how to lose a room. When you start a speech with back in my day, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares.
How many miles you walked uphill or didn't? Yeah.
Barefoot, by the way.
Yeah.
Barefoot.
One of the so two of the things I guess that come into account with the so conditioning is a big thing, particularly with basketball. And how do you approach conditioning? Because we've seen a wide array, everywhere from we treat this like Olympic trials to we just let the ball do the conditioning. How is that? Depending on how your offense is, depending on how your defense is, conditioning can be a premium. So, how do you approach conditioning?
Okay, I got two-part answer to that. First off, huge weakness of mine. I have a hard time conditioning the girls. I let Les take care of that, and Tony. I'm really bad at that. But I'm a firm believer in conditioning. I think the most overused word in sports is choke. I think, and I'm not saying people don't choke, but I think tired legs make them miss that free throw more so than choking.
Absolutely.
And your legs go in the fourth quarter, and I think that's what happens. So I always try to express to the girls, I don't want a team that we're better than to beat us just because we're not in shape. So, and we never, ever, ever run for punishment. I think that's the stupidest thing in the world. I know coaches make their kids run for missing a layup. I think that's insane. I'll make you run to get in better shape, or I'll make you run if you embarrass me or the program. Then you're going to run. But I'm not going to make you run because you made a mistake. Mistakes happen in basketball. They happen in sports every day. But yes, conditioning, I have a hard time telling how far to push them. It's really hard for me. I remember reading a story about Bruce Jenner when I was younger. That's how old I am. He said he would run every day till he threw up. I'm like, that boggles my mind that people could do that. So I have Les and Tony. They handle the conditioning part because, as you said, Sam, very important to be in shape in basketball.
So not only is it important to be in shape during basketball, but I mean, right now with not being able to be in the gym, it's probably a little bit harder. So how are you keeping the girls focused? Like how are you keeping them focused during this remote type thing? Like what are you doing?
Yeah, we just discussed it as a staff. I'm not worried about like their shooting and their fundamentals. I mean, obviously it's a concern, but my number one concern first off would be their cardio. Because we can't do nothing right now. And I'm really concerned. We haven't been in the gym since November 6th. We'll play our first game on January 12th. So I'm very concerned about their cardio. I'm asking them to do things. I'm sure some are, some ain't, like any other thing. As far as mental, yeah, man, that's tough. We start doing the Zoom meetings. The last Zoom meeting took 5 minutes. So we tried to come up with something. I thought the scavenger hunt was a lot of fun and just trying really hard. I text them. We have a group chat. They're a wonderful group of girls, great coaches. Just try to stay engaged as much as we possibly can.
So one of the questions we ask here is who's the killer in the conditioning? So what you're telling us is that when Les and Tony walk in the door, the eyes begin to roll because they know it's coming down.
Yeah, mostly it's Les. My boy Tony's getting a little long in the tooth. But Les, he's Mr. Premier. He works out every day. And I give Les props. He gets right down there and runs with the girls. He does pretty much every drill with them. They have a lot of fun with him, giving him a hard time. But, and of course, Sydney does. And, some of the girls try to compete with Sydney. So the girls don't whine about running. They really accept it. And I tell the girls, if it's too hard, just sit out. I understand. But you need to remember, though, if I got to, you put your hand on your head, you got to come out of the game, because you're tired. I don't want that to happen. So you're only helping yourself by getting in shape.
Self-accountability. I love that. I would say you are the first coach to say anything like that, to be totally honest with you, since we started this. Yeah. So one of my favorite questions is, and I'm stealing Sammy's thunder again for the second time in a row. I love asking this question. I think I'm going to transition it to mine. But so there's always, everyone wants to win every game, but there's always one game that gets the double circled on it. A little bit more prepared, a little bit more running happening that week just to be ready to rock. What game is it that St. John ladies basketball double circles?
Well, I'm going to give you a political answer. I mean, it's like asking me, I love music. It's like asking me my favorite song. I probably have to give you 10. I'm not going to lie. In the county, I love playing Conneaut and my cousin Tony, Randy and Edgewood. We have a great rivalry going on over there. Lakeside, are you kidding me? It's almost walking distance from St. John.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Valley coach, really good buddy of mine. Jeff at PV, good people. I love all the county games. Mike Hassett and I have been friends for a long time, so having the opportunity to play him this year is super exciting.
Machine Gun Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And going to Jefferson, and then out of the county, you know, our school's starting to establish a rivalry with Fairport. We love playing Fairport. So I would say the county schools and Fairport would be, I apologize for not circling one game. Usually during the season, though, there is one game that kind of, you know, it jumps at it. It jumps out a little more. So that varies year to year. But a general answer would be the county schools and probably like Fairport.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So one of the problems that's I think unique to girls sports, and this changes, well, not girls sports, but girls basketball, and this is going to change from class to class, from girl to girl, that I've seen is aggression. Sometimes with girls, teaching that aggressiveness, that aggressive nature is something that has to be pushed in. Now, again, not true across the board. I understand that for everybody watching. I'm not saying, but I know that a lot of times that's something that coaches have to kind of push in there. Is that something that you have to push in there, or do you have girls like Sydney Carpenter who that competitive nature helps them teach the other girls?
I'm going to give you an answer, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. My answer first off is you're 100% right. Obviously, if your skill set is way up there and you're aggressive, you're going to be an amazing basketball player. If you have an average or below skill set, but you're aggressive, it's going to make you that much better. And it really stands out in basketball. Here's the question I've been asking myself for 22 years. When I coach football, when I coach basketball, if you have a non-aggressive kid and you do a drill, let's say the drill in basketball, where I roll the ball out and two players have to dive on the floor to get the ball. You guys have probably all done it, or even a tackling drill in football. Does that make a non-aggressive kid more or less aggressive?
I think it depends on who your leader on the team is. So just as an example, I played college baseball for 5 years, and we were a pretty good team. And as I started to become a leader on that team, we had some freshmen in the pitching group that, you know, kind of were lackluster in drills. They wouldn't go after it. They wouldn't chase down the bag to the first baseman. And one day I just said to them, "Oh, you think that's good enough?" And they just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Okay." And I walked away. And a couple of days later, I mean, they started going harder and harder at it, man. I mean,
and I guess
they needed to impress people.
And I agree with you, but to dispute your answer a little bit, I think right now you're talking about effort. I'm talking more about aggression.
Oh, okay.
I know what you're saying.
And I respect your answer, Tom, and it makes a lot of sense. And your leader does allow to make them provide more effort. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think aggression is taught from mom and dad in your upbringing. I really do.
Yep.
I really do.
Where it comes from.
And I think a coach, and this is not a cop out by any means, I think there's a cap on your aggressive level. So I don't know if that specific drill makes that person more or less aggressive. Does that timid person not want to do that drill? And by you making her do it, will that make her harder or softer?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think in a lot of cases, particularly with aggression, trying to force it out of somebody who's just naturally non-aggressive, those drills actually, I think, are going to cause them to go the other way because they're going to try and contribute in ways where they're, you know, that contribution isn't going to be so big. But I guess my question with girls is the way society kind of puts it on them, where aggression. Some girls are aggressive, but they don't want to show that because they don't want to be that, you know, aggressive girl. And that's something I think that's unique to girls' sports, where sometimes you have to tell them it's okay to be an athlete. It's okay to be strong and stuff like that. Particularly with stuff like rebounding and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're 100% right. I know a lot of probably like sometimes a compliment you hear, she plays like a boy. Well, usually that means she's pretty good.
Yeah, that means she's good.
You know what I've noticed a lot when other girls call another girl a bitch? Oh, she plays like a bitch. Well, the reason they're calling her that is because she's good. Nobody ever calls a girl that ain't any good a bitch. They'll never call the girl on the end of the bench a bitch. Never. Yeah. So yeah, we kind of embrace that, and you know, we preach: be aggressive, be good, be as hard as you want to be. And I understand some girls have limitations on their aggressive level. And I'm not going to really try to make that girl run into a wall. I'm going to ask her to do something else to fit her skill set with her kind of unbeknownst to her. and she still realizes she can and will contribute to the team in her own way.
I like that. I do like that. One of my other favorite questions, and so everyone loves to get W's and win championships, but to be totally frank, nobody does this just for that reason. So what is your favorite part about coaching?
Man, that's a really good question. I mean, I just love sports so much. I know reality TV is really big nowadays. And guys, with all due respect, sports has been reality TV since the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you turn a game on, you were talking about that Washington-Pittsburgh game the other night, Sam. You were like, man, maybe they're going to win by 40. You literally have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in a sporting event. And I just love that part of it, the unpredictability. And, just you don't know the outcome. My favorite movie is the movie when the ending surprises you, things that take twists and turns. And I think that's my favorite thing about sports, Ryan, just the idea of you don't know the outcome and everybody's preparing to try the same goal and however it's going to end. So I love the competitiveness. I realize winning isn't important. Competing is important.
Mm-hmm.
Kids want to compete. Ask any kid, would you rather sit on a bench on an undefeated team or play on a losing team? They're going to pick play every time, guys. Every time.
Yeah.
You sit on the bench, you don't feel like you're part of things. So I think that competitiveness is what drives us. And, whether you're doing fantasy football or whatever you're doing, especially, having your competitive juices flow is just kind of like life. So I think having the ability to compete is what I love about coaching.
Awesome. Well, that's what I got for tonight.
And my last question.
Yeah, here we go.
My last question that I ask everybody is, when the St. John Lady Heralds take the court, what can everybody look forward to seeing when Lady Heralds are on the court?
We're pretty much always going to play the game the right way. We might lose by 30. We might win by 30. We're always going to play the game the right way. And, I'm not going to bore you with all the definition of playing the right way is. Like, I don't want to bore you guys with this answer, but I really wanted to say it. Like when you're younger, your parents say, don't do that. It's going to hurt you later in life. Well, I'm old enough now that I see how some of that stuff turned out. Guys, I've played and coached kids that scored 15, 16 points a game. Their team is undefeated. They can't hold a job. They're in jail. They've been divorced 6 times. I've coached kids that scored 2 points a game that are CEOs of companies right now. I think you don't need to learn how to win in high school sports. You need to learn how to maximize your skill set. Learn how to have a proper work ethic, how to prepare. I think if you maximize your skill set in life, you're going to be okay. Embrace the moment, concentrate on what you're doing, get the most out of your God-given ability. Wherever that takes you, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think that's great. That's one of the things, you have I guess you're doubly invested in the way your team looks on the court, because it's not only a reflection of you, but if your team looks bad, you're not only getting yelled at as a coach, that AD email is going to get emailed too. So, it's really, you have to lead by example. And I do want to tell you this. I think you lead by example in a great way. You are a great leader for St. John Sports. You keep all these kids, boys, girls, they're all invested. You keep on top and make sure they're doing the right thing. And, you're keeping these kids invested in sports as well as being invested in school first, which I think is huge. You mentioned, wrestling coming on to the, onto the scene since you've become athletic director. I think that they've put a couple things in the trophy case in that time too. A small school with 3 state guys, you can't really beat that. It's a reflection of the enrollment, it's a reflection of the coaching, but it's the reflection of the tenacity from the athletic department and the work you're putting in to make sure that we have successful programs. So as a parent at St. John, as a person of Ashtabula County, I want to say thank you for that, because I think your job is fantastic. I think you do a great job.
Well, thanks a lot, Sam. Again, we're all about diversity and hiring qualified people and not getting caught up in negative stereotypes or anything like that. Just doing what's best for the program and what's best for the school. And again, I thank you guys so much for allowing me this opportunity. I could talk for another 2 hours. I love it. It's fantastic. I know you guys got things to do, and I super appreciate what you guys do. And thank you.
Yeah, well, I want to tell you before we get out of here, guys, listen, Nobody in the world knows these rules and when they should be called more than this guy right here. Whether it's basketball, football, what have you, he knows when it should be called, why it should be called, and how often. Those refs got a tough ticket when they're lining up against big Iarocci. Let me
say,
tell
were you ever a ref coach?
I know I wasn't, and I'm on refs all the time. But one thing's ref really respect about me. I'll say it one time, and I'll never say it again. And guys, I never, as a referee, cost anybody a basketball game. That's bullshit. When you start blaming referees, you're giving kids excuses on why they lost. Sure, they make bad calls, but it's all good. And I shake win or loss. I shake hands with the referee after every game, and I'm on them. I'll ride them, but I don't continue on it. I don't be a whiner. I point out what I seen, and then we just move on. And I think they respect that. And no, I've never been one, Ryan. They have a very tough job. I respect the heck out of the job they do, and I know how difficult it is.
Yeah, it's bad enough to wear those ugly uniforms they give them too, boy. I'll tell you. But
you talk to Rock about pass interference. He'll show you his knowledge.
Yeah. No, I want to thank you, Coach, and I do want to compliment you. With some of your answers tonight were it kind of changed the way I look at things. You know, obviously, you know, everyone's in it to win it. That's you know, or risk it for the biscuit, all that fun stuff. However people say it, but you know, the way you say it, and you have an aura about you, even through this little monitor we're doing now. You have an aura about you where, you know, I could see how just how you do it. I got to compliment you on that. And I got to also say thank you for taking the time. I can't wait. My son goes to St. John as well. He's a first grader. So should be interesting for years and years to come.
Yeah. I agree, Ryan. Thank you, man. I look forward to meeting your son. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So, Coach Rock, thank you very much for coming on. When I was teaching over at Assumption back in the early 2010s, a couple people in the administration told me, you know, hey, if you want to get involved with sports, if you want to meet some good people up at St. John, because this is when Assumption was, you know, going to be disbanded and everything. And I was kind of maybe thinking about going over to St. John. They were like, you know, talk to Coach Rock over there. He'd be a great. So I heard all about you, man. And, since the legend of you kind of grew in my head. And I was like, man, if I could ever meet this guy, that'd be awesome. And then fortunately I was able to meet you this year at Spire. And then I kind of got to talk to you quite a bit when you were purchasing that beautiful new vehicle you got. I got to meet you and your wife. She's a lovely woman. You guys are very nice, very cool. It was awesome that you took the time to, you know, you could have been over there talking finances for an hour, but, you know, you decided to come over there and talk about golf and stuff with me, man. That was awesome. That stuck with me. I mean, because as a car salesman, man, that kind of thing sticks with you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you know, I remember you gave me that little tidbit about I was watching your boy Oosterhays, and I was rooting for you, man.
I was rooting for myself too, and then when I realized I wasn't getting 55 grand, I kind of lost some interest there. We would have had a good production value if I would have won that week, and I'm gonna tell you what.
Thank you, Tom. And yeah, the people at Assumption are good people. And I called Gene. I sent Gino a text. You guys do an amazing job. I really enjoyed. Sometimes buying a car is not really that pleasurable, but everybody was so super cool, man. I really enjoyed. Bianca and the sales manager, and they're constantly texting me and asking me how everything went. So again, I know Johnny does a great job, and so do you. And thank you for that experience. That was wonderful.
Hey, heck yeah, man. Hey, but also thank you for taking your time with these young women and helping mold them, not just as athletes, but as future leaders in our community. Because like you said, like not everyone's going to go play. Not everyone's Sabrina Ionescu, man. They're not going to go play at Oregon and get drafted #1 by the New York Liberty. They're going to go on and become doctors. They're going to be lawyers. They're going to be, car salespeople. Hopefully, it's a good field. But so thank you for taking the time out of your day and all these years to mold these young women into productive members of society, people that young people can look up to going up, man. That's awesome, and it's definitely commendable. So thank you.
Thank you, guys, man. You're going to make me cry, man. You're tearing me up. This is really good stuff. It means a lot, man. And I know you guys are sincere, too. You guys are awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Keep doing you, Rock, man. Hey, keep doing you, man. So thanks for joining the show tonight. We'll bounce you off. I'm booting you. You're out.
All right, can't wait to see you in the gym coming up soon, Coach.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Rock. Have a good night. Oh. Sorry, Tom. I went to go hit Rock to remove him, and he did it himself, and I hit that button. Yeah. So, Well, thank you guys, everybody, tonight for joining the show. It was really fun to have Rock on here. It's always good to talk about, the youth and what's going on in the community. But that does kind of wrap up Herald's week. We got a few things on the docket for next week. Pay attention to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, or whatever it is. I don't know.
Twitch will be coming up soon, but pay attention, guys, because next week we'll have a different school, a different week, a couple coaches. That's the idea. We're trying to give you guys as a community a look into these programs. St. John is St. John is the smallest program in the area, but it's also one of the most storied. St. John has been around forever and ever and ever. There are plenty of record holders. There are plenty of state qualifiers. There are state championships. We have there's this guy that coached college football. He won a couple games that went there. There's a lot of great things going on there, and it's really this is the point of bringing these things out. And while we have a personal view on St. John because we're there, one of my favorite things on this show is actually getting to know the programs we don't know. So learning the things we did about Edgewood this year was fantastic. We are Lakeside graduates, so we had a firsthand view. If you would have told me in 2005 that I would have been interviewing anybody from Jefferson, I would have called you a dirty liar. But that is one of my favorites. One of my favorite places to be is out in Jefferson this year. PV has opened a whole nother world out there. Geneva was phenomenal to go out there and cover when we could get out there. Like Conneaut, the Spark, are you kidding me? Like what a great athletic facility out there, and the kids are awesome. It's been really a great year, and I'm super looking forward to. So keep your eyes peeled because next week is going to be it's going to be a new week and a new school.
Hold up real quick, Sam. You talked about Conneaut. I need to give a shout out to a very special guy from Conneaut, Mr. Tellis Andrews. Tellis Andrews just received a scholarship offer from Lake Erie College to go play football there. So hats off to Tellis Andrews. Hopefully that young man goes balls out, baby.
So the Roadrunner player. Roadrunner, one of three athletes in this area to get that offer. So the Roadrunner got an official offer. Ben Scabona got a big official offer, and 440 Goals' own Player of the Year, Charlie Taylor, also getting an offer to the Lake Erie Storm. I'll tell you what, guys.
Could you imagine?
If they get all those boys over there, we might have to mosey on over to Painesville and see if we can't catch some Storm action.
Yep.
Could you imagine?
Take a little walk on a Saturday afternoon and have a good old time. Maybe they got tailgating. God. You never know. All right, folks, it is now 9:49. It's been a really great show. Can't wait till next week. Don't forget, Tuesday night, we'll be back live, in charge and hot and in action, whatever you want to call it. 8:30. I can't talk. You'd think I'd be able to by now, but I can't. So thanks, everyone, for joining us tonight. Can't wait to see everyone next week. I'm getting out of here.
See you guys later.
Hey, I'll see you guys Tuesday. 440 goal.
Big deuces. Bye.
Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, 4-4 and go. That other getting old. We got Sam Ryan time. This is a sports octagon. Sports for forever and beyond. Spending with Sam Ryan time. From the puck to the glove to the pigskins high. Share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. Down the baseline in the bleachers, or you wanna get denied. Yeah, share all of your thoughts, just let it ride. 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul. Yeah, it's 4-4 and go. Come here to cleanse your soul.
The Browns Super Bowl contenders.
Hey, listen, when we start talking about what wins Super Bowl, we talk about talent. The Browns, they have the talent. They have it.